Hello there everyone, Stormy Strike here, and in this video we're going to be unboxing the Collector Club model Carter and the Stablemate Club model Klaus, I think is his name. I ended up being able to buy both of them together, so I ended up saving $5 on shipping on the Stablemate, so that was kind of nice. But Carter did end up being rather expensive because of shipping, unfortunately, and I was a little hemming and hawing on whether or not to get him. But let's begin unboxing. Wow, it was actually just mostly paper in this box. Oh my goodness, look how cute. The little Stablemate Club box here is in the same pattern as the big Breyer boxes. That's so cool. Let's go ahead and start off with the Stablemate. Oh wow, and he just fits like perfectly right in here. And there he is! Oh my gosh, look at this cute little fellow. This is actually a different size than the Stablemate Club boxes from before. Before, they were pretty much always this same size, but as you can see, this one is a little bit taller and a little bit not as long. They also changed the background on the boxes. Now it's kind of a leafy thing going on. I don't know if this will be on all the 2020 Stablemate Club boxes or if they're going to do it for each model different. But before, all the Stablemate boxes were, I believe, just this background. So this is a little bit different from the previous boxes. The back is also different. This is what the Stablemate Club back of the box looked like from the previous years. And this is the new back of the box, which, as you can see, actually has some of the stablemates from the 2019 Stablemate Club. It has a little blurb about the Stablemates Club and a cute picture of some horses on the bottom. Let's go ahead and open this little guy up. And here he is. He is so cute. He is a really nice little stablemate. As you can see, he has a ton of spots, but they are very nicely masked on. There's really not any overspray or smudges, which is pretty incredible for such a teeny tiny little guy. He has a couple tiny little black marks here and there, which I don't know if they'll really show up too much on camera. There's like one. There's a couple right there too, but I think they could be removed fairly easily if I wanted to do that. His tail is really pretty. Really nicely shaded, even though it doesn't have like a lot of color shading going on. It's very nice subtle gray shading. Same with his mane. He's got just a little bit of shading on there, and it's not too dark. It's not drawing too much attention to itself. It looks very nice and subtle. Same with his face. He's got a little bit of shading around his eye and his muzzle. I wish his muzzle was pink instead of gray, honestly. I think that would just maybe look a little bit better and make a little more sense. Same with his eyes. I don't know. I think I like the pink shading a little bit more than this gray, but it still looks pretty, and he does have a little bit of shading on his ears too. His hooves are super nicely done. They are actually striped. This is a really nice paint job on his hooves. And it's the same with the back hooves as well. Very nicely done. It does feel really bare on the inside of his body. I feel like there should be a little bit more spots on the inside of his legs and on his belly, just a couple more. He's got a couple spots on his back legs here, so I'm kind of okay with that, but I do feel like they should have had a couple more on his belly and on the inside of his legs. But I can understand that trying to mask off those areas on this little tiny guy is probably really hard, and it was probably hard enough to get all these spots on him like this. He is just a very nice little model, though. I am quite glad I decided to join the Stablemate Club again. I almost didn't this year, but there were too many models I liked, and this was one of the models. I'm like, oh, he is very cute, and he is even nicer in person. This is my first model on this Stablemate mold, and he is absolutely adorable. Let's go ahead and move on to unboxing Carter next. Here is Carter. This guy does seem like he has got like a pearly undercoat. Like before they started painting all the color on him, they first gave him a bit of a pearly base coat on all of him. So he's a little shiny, but he doesn't look super duper shiny. I kind of like that he's sort of an in-between. His tail and his mane are a little bit more pearly and shiny than the rest of his body. Maybe not so much on his mane, but on his tail, it's very pearly. For the most part, he looks pretty nice. He does have a couple tiny minor flaws. Not a huge deal necessarily. He has like a little bit of mold flaws. He's got some kind of weird things going on this side of him, like some paint things going on a little weird with his dapples right there. And one little mark on the top of his haunches there. For the most part, though, he looks pretty nice. On his belly, it says Collector Club 2020 in gold. And as you can see, he does have these dapples. These ones don't look super duper great, though. I feel like I've seen some Carters with some better dapples than this guy. I'm not super fond of how patchy it's looking here. The ones on his back are fine because they blend in a lot better. But just the ones on his side there, this part's not too bad. The shoulder ones look okay right here. But this patchy part here and right there on his neck, I'm not very fond of. And just not very fond of the dapples on here at all. So I'm a little disappointed with that they just kind of look a little bit too not blended in at all. I know that's hard for the models to get painted the way they do for their dapples to look really good. He does have brown eyes, which you can't really see because of my light, but he does have brown and black eyes, which is always a nice touch. And again, sorry you can't really tell because of my ring light. But he does have some nice eyes going on. And the shading on his face is really interesting. He's got a lot of white on the front of his face, but then he has some of that darker shading on his cheeks and of course some shading around his muzzle, his eyes, and his ears. And his legs have some gray shading going on, except for this bottom part of his leg is white, and you can definitely see a little bit of that pearly base coat coming through, and on his hoof it just looks a little pearly because of that pearly paint they used. And then his other legs here, kind of like a dark gray and lighter gray shading going on. I do like that he has just a very subtle bit of shading on his back here, like kind of in these 4 lines. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but he's got very subtle shading right there, and I actually really like that. I think that looks super good because it's just barely noticeable, and it just blends in very nicely and gives kind of an extra little bit of detail. I don't know, I'm really loving that. And that is Carter for you. I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on him still at the moment, but I'll see if he grows on me a little more. I think he will look really cool with tack though. I've seen pictures of people tacking their Carters up and he looks super great in tack. So he might be a fun horse for tacking up and things like that. And then here is little Klaus. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but this adorable little guy. I really love him. He is adorable. hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe for all things Breyer horses. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone!